Well,
London
Jacob, shall we
boys.
dive? Shall we dive in as Stephen's? Oh, here's Clemens as well. Great. I think we can get started. And Simon, it's good to see you in the room. You're very welcome to join us on camera if you can, but totally understand if you can't. So here we are. Hey, good to see you. You're stepping into our Resonant Man space. You're
Hi,
very welcome.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah, so we're gathered here because we're all, or hopefully all of us, or most of us, are going to be headed to our Solstice Summer Activation. Um, it is a retreat essentially, but we prefer the word activation because retreat has a kind of slightly passive energy to it. And what we're planning at Pitchcott Farm, which belongs to Tony, who's obviously here with us today, yeah, is going to be anything other than passive. I'll start by just saying a few words about the Resonant Man. I think most of you have already heard about what we've been doing over the last couple of years, but essentially, this initiative arose kind of spontaneously out of the friendship that Jacob and I developed. We first connected over our shared interest in exploring how the collective trauma of the world wars, the First and Second World Wars, had affected men and how we could, at some level, feel it living with us, within us. That led us to men's work. But of course, that opened up something much bigger, something much wider. And for me, if I was to boil down the essence of why I do this, it's because I feel that in the company of men, in the company of a conscious circle of men committed to our own and each other's evolution, I get to be who I really am at the core. I get to step out of the roles that I've been taught to play. I get to let go of the conditioning that I've received, and I get to feel that essential essence. And I get to feel that essence coming through other men as well. And we meet twice a week. We have two parallel circles on Zoom, which is an amazing platform for doing this work and is really effective. We can build real intimacy and depth online. But of course, nothing beats being together in person on the land. And we'll hear from Tony in a short while about Pitchcott Farm. We got together last year for the first time, and it was really, it exceeded all my expectations in the kind of connection we were able to establish, the kind of sense of coherence. And men came away saying things like, yeah, this was the first time that I really felt like myself. And to me, that was one of the most rewarding comments that I could hear because we need this. We need this resource. We need each other. We're facing a challenging world out there. But when we come together as men, transparently, authentically, vulnerably, but also sharing our gifts and our wisdom, and we're going to be hearing about some of the incredible. I'm actually like amazed. I feel like it's a gathering of X-Men, men's work leaders who've suddenly all constellated almost out of nowhere with all these superpowers that they're ready to share. And we're going to be hearing about those in due course. But yeah, this is a session really just to speak about the retreat, about the activation. We'll give a sense of the sort of things we have planned and take questions. But really, yeah, this is like a super informal gathering, and I hope that you can already feel like something of the energy and essence of the resonant man arising in the space. Jacob, I'm sure you'll have a few words to throw in on top of that as well.
Yeah, beautifully put, Matthew, and great to see many of the X-Men and future X-Men gathering before my eyes. Um, yeah, I think I want to speak to two elements of this gathering and this quality of gathering. And first and foremost is a sense of kind of primordiality. It feels like something really original in the deepest sense. It feels like a return. It's something very grounding. And one of the things we noticed last year when we did this is that for many men, especially the English guys, it was like the first time they'd really felt that sense of almost indigenousness to their own
Mm,
country, like being on the land, being around the fire, and being in that deep sense of presence and feeling that kind of collective spirit of being there together was a really novel and quite healing experience. Um, but of course, there's something really, really unique about the times that we're living through. And part of the Resonant Man initiative is to attempt to equip men to feel like they have the resourcing to make sense of all of these emerging trends, this state of intense confusion, this state of dislocation, and to equip us to actually navigate that and have the tools and to do that in a deeply collaborative way. So we're not really um, looking for sort of broadcast style, like just guests coming and giving you hour-long lectures. Like that's not the format at all. This is really deeply dialogue based exploration. Some of it is going to be very embodied and running around in the field or getting around the fire. We're going to have DJ Josh Silva coming, who works with Matthew and his ecstatic dance project in London, and he's really experienced DJ. He's going to come and do an incredible set with us. We're going to
Outdoors.
have
Yeah.
outdoor set in the field. We'll have live music. Also with Jordan Bates and me, we're going to be rapping some conscious rap from our debut album together, which is going to be dope. Um, and there's really an incredible blending of ritual and ceremony, which is something we do playfully, but it's really a sincere way of creating that environment where real connection and brotherhood can be forged. And then alongside that, this kind of nutritious mix of different talks and inquiries and activations that some of our guest facilitators are going to be bringing. And then ultimately, that sense of something emerging, and that's really core to Resonant Man work. Like we don't come with all the answers. We create the conditions for us to be deeply present to the process. And then out of that, new answers, new connections, new insights into what it means to be us and to come together can come through. So that's what we'll be holding space for. And I have so many memories of little side conversations that I had randomly during the weekend that were super impactful,
Mm.
sometimes more than the main program. So leaving room for that to be a very special part. And yeah, I'll pass it back to you, Matthew, and then perhaps we can introduce some of our guest facilitators to share for a few minutes about who they are and a little bit of the spirit of how they're approaching this weekend or maybe what they're bringing out in their workshop.
Well, in that case, yeah, I think we should hear from some of our guests. I'm spoilt for choice as to who to begin with. I think I'm going to have to turn to the legendary Jordan Bates. It's we've worked with Jordan a number of times in the space. In fact, most memorably, I would say your guest session in our month of the spiritual gangster, which we're still integrating and processing. It was such a such a high intensity session that we're still surfing the wave of that right into our month of AI. But actually, it's probably the kind of energy that we need to tackle this alien super intelligence. So yeah, you've already been a huge contributor to what we're doing, and we're delighted that you're going to be with us in person. So maybe you want to say a few words about your work for those who are new to you, and yeah, give us a sense of the kind of inspiration that you'll be channeling on the land of Pitchcott.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you for the very um, warm introduction. Yeah, really good to be here. Really good to see everybody. Men's work is very dear to my heart. I've been deeply immersed in it for about 6 years now. I've sat in about 500 men's circles and led about 350 of those myself. So it's yeah, just something very deep in my bones at this point. I love being in these spaces. I love being in sacred space with men, and I feel this work is deeply, deeply needed. And yeah, I've been really impressed and heartened to see what Jacob and Matthew have been bringing forth with the Resonant Man. It feels like a very unique and innovative flavor of men's work that I haven't seen before. And I think with men's work, there is so much room for innovation. Like there, in one sense, there are these classical elements of men coming together in a space of love, honesty, truth, and witnessing without agenda to hear each other and to hold each other and to reflect to each other. But then beyond that, there's really such a blank canvas of possibilities and so many things that can be brought into men's work. So I've really enjoyed playfully experimenting in many directions over the years with different types of exercises and possibilities that can be brought into this work. And so it's been cool to see uh, Jacob and Matthew experimenting with different approaches based on what I've seen from them. And yeah, I think this retreat is a great example. It seems like a very innovative retreat and activation that's bringing together such a cool array of presences and facilitators and who are bringing such unique gifts. I think that'll make for yeah, a really beautiful melting pot and jamboree of flavors over there. So I'm really looking forward to being on the land with everybody in the UK and experiencing that together. And yeah, I myself, it looks likely that my session I'll be leading will be around connecting to your power, and so we'll probably be doing some primal activation, using our voices, probably getting loud, probably some shadow work, leaning into the darker edges, and then learning and understanding more deeply how to bring all of that material into a space of pure love, a space of pure grace, what for me is a transcendent and all present field of grace that's always with us, and understanding that as the deepest key, in my experience at least, to actually digesting and integrating that material, allowing that material to alchemize and harmonize with the system and in service of the whole, in service of your North Star as a man. So yeah, that's what's currently been crystallizing, and I look forward to doing some rap music with Jacob as well. Yeah, it's been a beautiful journey for us to connect with the microphone and with music over time as well. So look forward to bringing that in too. So thank you guys for listening, and yeah, much love to
Thank,
everybody.
thanks, Jordan. I'm looking forward to feeling that primordial energy that you're going to be bringing through on Pitchcott Farm. Yeah. So I meant to say at the start, we're going to run to the top of the hour just so we can have enough time to hear from everyone and take questions as well. We may hang around a little longer than that as well if anyone wants to spend some more time with us until 9:30 or so. But yeah, we'll also just keep our uh, contributions to about 3 minutes so we can run through everyone and then have plenty of open space at the end. So Mahon, would you like to step in? This will be your first time in our space, and it's great to see you again. You were very generous in affording us some airtime on your podcast when we were just getting started. So it's really meaningful to welcome you
Very
back.
true. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
to see
Thank
how
you.
it's blossomed. Yeah, man, I'm super excited to come to the retreat. Obviously, yeah, I've been around. Me and Jacob have been kind of messing around online in the kind of John Vervaeke meaning crisis space for a good while. And so very interesting how this project has developed, particularly around masculinity. And my background is in philosophy, so I'm currently doing a PhD in philosophy in digital ethics. That's my kind of day-to-day job. But then also online, I write a lot about the meaning crisis, about existential issues like nihilism, alienation, anxiety, the general spiritual malaise of the modern environment, and kind of philosophical, psychological, theological solutions to that. And that's what I do on the podcast and that kind of stuff. But for myself personally, I mean, I definitely suffered as kind of a young man growing up in the current world of being like, who should I be? What is a good man? Like, how do you, negotiate the strange environment? So I think that was quite core to what I've had to learn. And a big part of my own journey has been in martial arts. So I have a black belt in Bojinkan and Jiu-Jitsu. I fought in Western boxing and Muay Thai as an amateur and pro. And I've also trained people across all three martial arts. So basically, a lot of my development, I mean, martial arts, I do think there's limitations to it in terms of philosophy, but it There's something again very primal about it. You know, it's the body, it's combat, it's how to move, how to coordinate yourself, flow, and also intentionality. You know, being able to turn on that aggression when needs be. And so in my session, yeah, we're gonna do some combat. Really, I'll go through kind of basic techniques, how to stand, how to move. We'll do some games and some exercises. And then, yeah, maybe have some fun-filled competitions as well, get the energy going. And I mean, we could do crazy spinning elbows and, you know, jumping knees to the head and stuff. It depends what people want to do. We'll see how far you know, I love just taking just new people and just doing the most absurd things possible. So we'll see what people want to do, basically. We can kind of tailor it. But
It's,
that's the general idea.
it's moments like this, Mahon, when I look back at my earlier career and think I could not have imagined that there'd come a point where I'd be getting this this Irish philosopher warrior to come and put me through my paces in some field in
Listen.
Buckinghamshire. But I just turned 50. Like, do I have to take part in this? Like, do I get some exemption, or is that like compulsory?
It depends. That's up to your own conscience. But
I,
you know, we'll tailor it. You know,
yeah,
we can have a senior
uh,
citizens
uh,
component.
a bit of titration, I think. Yeah, but no, I mean, it sounds amazing. Like, I cannot wait for that. It's just brilliant that you're bringing all that energy and experience. And
Yeah, we'll have a great time doing it as well, man. I think
yeah, yeah,
it'll be a lot of fun. And I hopefully you'll glean something from it and maybe bring it away, and it might be something you develop later as well, because I think it's an important skill set.
yeah. And I loved what you said about like intentionality around like aggression. Like,
Mhm.
because one of the things, like in like as men and in men's work, I've often been working with is like, how do we how do we be assertive? How do we stand up for what's right, or for what's for justice writ large, but without being too much, without collapsing? Like, how do we stand in our power in a way that is aligned with life? It is not coming from that kind of old model of like dominator culture masculinity, that kind of colonial masculinity, but at the same time that we have that core, that strength that we need to to serve life. So like that, like, and I don't think you need to be like, I mean, being physically fit obviously helps, but it's something deeper than just the physique and physical training, isn't it? There's something very spiritual and energetic about that whole approach as well that I'm really excited to hear you speak about. Yeah, amazing. Um,
Yeah, and absolutely
uh,
just wanted to underline that sense of the wisdom of combat, the
yeah,
capacity to really contend with the times that we're living in is what I'm calling on Mahon. And I felt almost a bit cheeky to ask him to, a physical training exercise when he's such a from him.
amazing. Yeah, exactly. And we have the philosophy as well. So yeah, super exciting. I'm gonna summon Stephen to step into the circle, the next X-Man, to unveil your special abilities.
Well, Matthew, you've just passed your 50th birthday. I've just passed 71. So the image I've got of myself is of the kind of tribal elder sitting by the fire, watching the young warriors dance and prepare for battle, and maybe speaking a word or two of wisdom along the way. And so, but I'm looking forward to it a lot. I met Jacob just under a year ago now, and we found ourselves talking about the Lord of the Rings and my life with the Lord of the Rings. I first read it back in 1968. I worked on the farm that my dad ran up in the Chiltern Hills, just a few miles from Pitchcott Farm, back in the
Mm.
1960s. I worked on that farm Saturday mornings for weeks to buy my first copy of The Lord of the Rings after reading it for the first time from my school library in High Wycombe. And it's a story that's sort of woven itself into my life deeper and deeper in the nearly 60 years since that time. And I began to write seriously about it just 13 years ago now, and have a blog which has a worldwide readership, and has by now received nearly 700,000 readers since I began to write it, and it's been a very rich experience for me. I want to bring a story from the Lord of the Rings to Solstice in June, which is the moment when the hobbits return from their adventures to the boundaries of the Shire, and Gandalf warns them that what lies ahead of them isn't the easy return that they were hoping for, but more conflict and more struggle. And Merry says to Gandalf, "Oh, it's okay. We've got you with us. We've got the grown-ups. We've got the superpower with us." And Gandalf says, "I'm not coming. You're going to have to sort it out yourselves. I'm off for a talk with Tom Bombadil." And then he says to them, "Isn't this what you've been trained for?" In other words, he's talking about initiation. Not initiation in his case as a particular ceremony that they have passed through, but initiation as life experience, which to me feels more true to the experience of most of us in the West, and reflection around life experience and how each element of life experience prepares us for the next struggle, and then the next one, and then the next one. So that whether you're 21 years old or 71 years old, what you've been through is preparing you for what comes next. And that's what I'd kind of like to reflect on and think about and talk over with those who I share that session with. So that's going to be my offering.
Wow. Yeah, we feel really, truly honored to welcome you.
Thank you.
Around our fire. Stephen, thank you. Yeah. Jacob, did you want to jump in?
Also, just extremely honored and really excited to hold that exploration. It feels really stirring already to hear, and really great for us, I think, in the sort of mythos of solstice to have some anchor points. And we're going to be searching for what those different anchor points are for all of us individually, but also collectively as we go through the weekend, and finding, not just conceptually, but at an embodied level, like, where do we really root in as men? What are the deep resources that we can each call upon, so that when we go out from solstice, we can go out really with our chests held high, with a deeper clarification, a crystallization, perhaps a purification of our vision and our purpose, whether that's simply showing up in our village and with our family, or some larger quest that may be upon us. But really excited about that, and really also excited that this year we're really going to be exemplifying something special about the Resonant Man, which is we hold an intergenerational field. We hold an intergenerational dialogue in our circles, and also on this retreat. We really feel like that vertical exchange of younger learning from elder and elder learning from younger is really, really really rich. And of course, also an intercultural component. And we'll have guys traveling in from various countries to join us for the weekend, and there may be even more, a few surprise guests, if we can line it up. So we've got even more surprise hands in the back. But yeah.
Wonderful. I want to turn to Tony shortly, but I would love to hear your voice, Clemens, because you're obviously a member of the Resonant Man Sunday Circle, and you were at Solstice, Solstice last year. I don't know if you want to throw in just a sense of what it was like for you last time.
Thanks, Matthew. Yeah, happy to. It was wonderful. It was exciting. It was surprising. it was the pinnacle at the point of everything that's come before, and it's as all the sessions and as the journey with you in general, with you two, everything is a puzzle piece that fits into what came before, and that was such an amazing experience, such an amazing puzzle piece that was at the same time then also the foundation for everything that came after. So it's like this, the continuation throughout being in the circle with these wonderful men, and just being face to face and seeing everyone and being able to really connect beyond the screen was such a fantastic experience. Yeah, it felt it was like family coming together almost.
Yeah.
Like cousins and brothers that we haven't seen in a long time, but still have such a close bond with. So it was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, thanks, Clips. And obviously, you're also, as I'd meant to note, you're on the organizing team as well this year. So, really appreciating your support with that as well.
And of course,
yeah, amazing. Tony, do you want to tell us something about the amazing transformation that you have unleashed at Pitchcott Farm? Because I mean, I first visited it could have been certainly 5 years ago. And what I've seen in that time has just blown me away. So perhaps you could tell us something of that story.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm at the farm now. It's just north of Aylesbury in Buckinghamshire, and I think Matthew, I think probably was 2021 when you first came. I if you like, started renovating the farm in during COVID, during that time, 2020, 2021. I sort of started stripping the wallpaper back from the farmhouse, and it's my family farm. It goes back to my grandfather, who originally bought the farm in 1958. So it's been in my family since then. I'm very much trying to continue the heritage of what my grandfather started. He farmed organically, and there's a very strong history of environmental protection at the farm, which I'm absolutely looking to continue in different ways. But also bringing in new elements and trying to find a balance between farming for nature, essentially, but also bringing people to the farm to experience the benefits that nature provides and being on the land provides. So trying to find this balance between allowing nature to flourish and the land to flourish, but also people flourishing, people that come here flourishing as well. So, I just
thought I'd show a few pictures there of the farm. Yeah. You can see that's the cafe, isn't it? All renovated, and fields there. Beautiful.
So the view, the views here are incredible. In some spots, you can sort of see 360-degree views all around, and so I've essentially opened up these buildings were previously stable buildings that house livestock and also horses. So it's completely opened up the buildings, but also the outside spaces. So you get these incredible views, and sharing this incredible natural environment with people, helping people reconnect to nature. Also lots of outdoor spaces that are ideal for this kind of retreat weekend. There's an area out the back where we set up our outdoor kitchen last year. You can actually see where those bell tents are. It's in that paddock there. That's where we set up our kitchen. There you go. There you see the farmhouse and the courtyard, the aerial view of the farm there on the left. So it's the farm's 150 acres in total of pasture land, so grazed pasture land, grazed mainly by sheep. But I'm developing and diversifying the farm in different ways. Going to be setting up a kitchen garden this year to grow food for the cafe, and all sorts of other ideas around agroforestry, tree planting. So we'll perhaps we'll perhaps get we'll fit into the schedule, perhaps get into the schedule some kind of activity or project on the land and on the farm during the weekend. Um, so so yeah, it's when last year was actually the solstice. Last year was actually the week before we opened the cafe. So it kind of came at this time where um, all of this work to convert these buildings was sort of 95% complete, if you like. Weren't quite there. But we opened the cafe in July, and so since then, more and more people have got to hear about it. Word has filtered out amongst the community, and the cafe is very much for the community. It's helping to bring people from the local community together, and
And we've got the place pretty much to ourselves, though, haven't we, this weekend? Which is pretty amazing because there's so much space.
yeah,
I mean, that's the beauty. What I've loved about coming to Pitchcott Farm is just the sense of spaciousness. Like you saw from those pictures, like how big it is. And you
yeah,
just feel like we've stepped through a portal into some kind of parallel world. Like it's even though it's within easy reach of London, it feels like we've really moved into a different dimension. So like I'm super excited about that. And we'll have
yeah,
the rave as well. We'll have the
yeah,
ecstatic dance outside under the trees, which is
yeah.
a highlight. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, we'll have the whole of the meadow, which is and the night skies here are incredible because there's very
Yeah.
little light pollution. So yeah, it's not that far out of London. It's only an hour on the train, and yet once you're here, there's a sense of an environment that's remote and very wild and
Yeah.
natural. Yeah.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing. And I've been many times as well outside of Solstice and our retreats. And yeah, it just feels like home. So much respect, Tony, for what you've achieved there by just reclaiming that ancestral inheritance and opening it up to the community and to all of us. So yeah, deep gratitude and admiration for all the commitment and vision that you've poured into that. It's really been amazing to be on that journey with you. Yeah, well, we've got a little time. Of course, yeah, for those who are new to Resonant Man, very happy to hear from you if you have any questions or anything else you'd like to know. We haven't given a very sort of precise breakdown of the agenda. I mean, there are some more details on the website. And we're obviously evolving exactly how we're going to put everything together, but hopefully that's given you something of a flavor. We'll also have Cadell Last, the philosopher, founder of Philosophy Portal, who joined us last year and did an amazing philosophy session under the trees out in the summer sunshine. And I think we covered like the origins of men's work in the 1848 revolution in France, which I wasn't anticipating, but like it certainly put what we're doing into bigger perspective. It was pretty incredible, actually. And I'm sure we'll have something equally mind expanding this time round. But yeah, floor's open. If there's anyone else want to bring anything forward, or as I say, if there's any questions about how it all works.
Maybe just briefly on that, is to say like this event is also a catalyst for us, and that's why we're particularly excited to bring together all of these voices and contributors and guests who we've all had these relationships and some of us quite close collaborations developing over many years. So there's a kind of sense of like a generative overflow to come out of this and perhaps even give birth to new possibilities and at the very least new friendships. But yeah, I'll pass it over to any questions, and I'll also pull up the the activities that we have for the
Yeah.
weekend to show you guys as well.
Mm.
Magnus, did you have something?
Oh, I mean, just to say it's great to meet everyone. And I'm really looking forward to coming. It seems like I've done some men's work before, and I think doing men's work, but with lots of men that have lots of fascinating things to share, it's a lot more energy and more fun, but also doing it at the solstice. I mean, what a time, right? There's a shift in the Earth's energy, this kind of liminal space between two times of the year. And I always feel that I sort of tune into something deeper at that time. So I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah.
Anything less than a transformative interdimensional portal opening at Pitchcott Farm, and we won't have done our job. But yeah,
that's guaranteed. It's great, Magnus, that you're stepping in. Yeah.
Truly.
Sorry, Jake.
Yeah, and Magnus and I have participated in men's circles going way back to Rebel Wisdom days, indeed. So it's like many lineages and streams joining together here. And I think there might be some brave ravers or fire sitters who stay up all the way till 2 a.m. or whenever the actual solstice happens on Saturday night. But we'll be marking that. And I also want to share about another thing that we're going to be marking, just pulling up the website here for those who haven't already seen it. It's just a list of the different experiences we're going to have. And one that we felt was also really important is that actually the Sunday of the retreat is going to fall on Father's Day. And we felt this would be a really profound opportunity to do some ancestral connection work whilst we get to the conclusion of the weekend, when we have a really consolidated and powerful collective space to be able to sense into that, to honor our fathers, to honor our ancestors and connect. And that's going to be a workshop that Matthew is going to be leading. We're going to have Cadell's address of masculinity in the future and have a dialogue around that. Hamish Renton is going to be leading a workshop in collaboration with Tony about meeting the land and getting to know the land. Jordan Bates is going to be leading us into our power. And then, of course, Lord of the Rings by the Fire. We will have our incredible cacao ceremony. I'll be bringing some cacao medicine from Mexico and also some copal to really support the ritual flow of the weekend, and other things which are probably not even delicious meals. I wonder if there was anything you wanted to say about that, Matthew, about your contribution now.
Yeah, well, one of the big portals, I suppose, that's opened up for me in the last few years, particularly in the work I've been doing with Thomas Hubel, the facilitator whose work is a big influence on the Resonant Man, is working with the ancestral dimension. And this was something that was very foreign and remote to me until about 4 or 5 years ago, when I began to really invest in this work. And it's almost difficult to describe. It has a kind of ineffable quality. But when we do activate that possibility of sensing into those ancestral, like what I think of as an ancestral nervous system, it's amazing where we can connect with maybe the blocks that we're carrying. We can gain some deeper perspective on the roots of some of our old thought loops or triggers that seem very stubborn and difficult to work with. We can often find there's some more spaciousness, there's some more possibility for transmuting some of those blocks, and also awakening resources that we didn't realize that we were carrying latent within us from that ancestral inheritance, from those healthy, healed ancestors. So yeah, as Jacob said, with Father's Day falling on the retreat day, it felt like a real opportunity to explore some of that work in a light way, but it can be also very profound in a very short space of time. So I'm excited to be bringing some of that as well. So yeah, appreciating appreciating all of you for being here. I still just feel this like wave of like what is it? It's partly like amazement that we've convened this group like from all around the world. It feels into the kind of gravity well of the Pitchcott Farm zone that's just kind of pulling us all into its orbit. But I'm also just excited about what I can feel already bubbling in the space. Like I sense that there's going to be some real shifts available for all of us in some way. And that's one of the things that I love about this work. It's trusting the field. When we tend the field, cultivate the field between us, there's a kind of intelligence that starts to work that doesn't belong to any individual, but that leads to exactly the moments of synchronicity and connection, the conversations, the words, the exchanges that really start to expand each of us in different and unique ways. And I love convening that space. And it feels very, yeah, it feels very moving to me that each of you are, yeah, either committed to already coming or even just being here present with this exploration and in that way already playing a part in the retreat. So yeah, appreciate all of you for joining us this evening. Yeah.
Yeah, and just to say, in addition to that, like there's such an incredible, unique fusion of streams coming together for this retreat. And just for myself, I feel like, you know, being based in Mexico, having spent much of the last 2 years thinking about the wisdom of indigenous rituals and indigenous medicines and practices, like it's an opportunity to explore what it means to really recreate ritual on the land of England, you know, where many of us have become disconnected from even what it means to be in that space of ceremony and connection in that way, and being on the land, literally on the field, under our feet as we do that is going to be really special.
Yeah. No shoes required at Pitchcott Farm. Barefoot, 48 hours.
So we've got time for a few more questions or any comments or contributions coming up from everybody in the space, and then we'll briefly just run over the logistics again, the core logistics around timing and tickets. And Simon, if you have any reflections or questions as well, I very much welcome that too.
No, I'm just listening to all. It sounds really great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's great to have you here, Simon, as well. Thank you. Yeah.
Do you, or does anyone want to say anything about the food side of things? I know that maybe those plans aren't quite in place yet, but just to talk about how we did it last time. We got Clemens here. See.
How Clemens did it.
Yeah. But for me, that was a really, it was such. I mean, ultimately, there's the fire and coming together around the fire, but also the coming together around food and that's, and also here obviously I'm in the cafe, and where food is an important part of what's happening here as a way of bringing people together with each other, but also connecting with nature, and so yeah, maybe that's not been decided yet. I don't know, but just it's definitely a big part of the weekend.
Oh, it certainly was, but it wasn't just me. I think everyone chipped in, and it was a fantastic picture actually to see everyone around that makeshift table with three gas stoves on it. I'm surprised that we didn't burn anything down.
Oh yes, there's the.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, down there. Impatient, growing impatience. But I think it's a matter of how many people are there. It was already borderline challenging for the number of people we had last year. If it's any more, I'm inclined to trying to persuade Tony to give us his kitchen.
Yeah, we can. I think. I mean, last year we had there was about 11 of us in total, and we just about managed on that a door placed on a couple of old oil drums with battered gas stoves. Which Clemens actually stepped in pretty much with a battlefield promotion to head of logistics saved us. But we're hoping to be a little bit better organized this time, especially we're expecting more as well, more men. So yeah, we'll talk more about that. The food is included in the ticket price, so we will be serving meals throughout the day. And yeah,
Delicious
we
meals.
hope to,
Feats
yeah,
of
I mean, they were
German
amazing.
culinary expertise.
They were really amazing. Actually, it was amazing, the food, and we want to at least maintain, if not surpass, what we accomplished last time. So, yeah, we also we have the perhaps more possibilities as well. The cafe is now operational, which it wasn't, I don't think, when we did the retreat last time. So, yeah, we'll probably have a slightly different approach on the catering, but it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be good, and it's a lot of fun as well when we do the shared cooking as well outside. Yeah. So
Yeah,
if there's
so
anyone here who like really enjoys outdoor cooking as well as Clemens, please identify yourself afterwards to the facilitators, and we may be able to do a discount for you.
Yeah, and on that note, last year we were really pulling this together from imagination. It was our first time organizing a retreat of its kind. It went remarkably well. But we really invited a kind of common collective action spirit. And so in the lead up to the retreat, we will, see if guys are able to do ride share or if some men have extra tents available, etc. Like we really pitch in to help pull this thing off. Although, of course, Matthew and I and our organizing team will be taking the lead, and we have so many incredible guests supporting us this year as well.
Mm.
And then perhaps just briefly to go over the logistics before perhaps some closing intentions, I'll just draw attention to this part of the website where we have arrival time that's going to be on Friday 19th. Roughly between midday and 2 p.m., 1 to 2 p.m., arrival at the farm. That's going to allow us to have our opening ceremony at 3 p.m. to really open the weekend and have most of a full day still on Friday. And then we go through Saturday with a whole agenda of fun and experience. And then Sunday also closing up around 4 p.m. after lunch. And then just gently departing thereafter. And tickets are available. The early birds are sold out. We still have quite a number of standard tickets, which are £325, including food, available there. It is a camping retreat, but there are also some furnished apartments available on site, and there is also still one bell tent space remaining. So you can make an inquiry here on this button if you'd like to know more about those, or you can book your ticket and just be in contact with us, as these details will all be ironed out over the coming months. But beyond that, I want to just invite a moment for us to sense into the collective intention, as this is really a gathering of the Soulstice team. It's a really powerful time for men to be gathering together in this way. It's very important that we do so. And so just sensing in for yourselves around the energy, around the vision that comes for you when you sense into what it means to really show up fully, to bring all of yourself to this gathering. I'm really opening that space of possibility for everything that can emerge through showing up and trusting in the process. If there are any additional words of intention that want to be shared from the team here, that's very welcomed. And then we'll close out the main part of the info session today.
Yeah, I want to intend that this gathering, all the men, all the organizers, that we really connect to who we really are at the deepest level, that we draw on the resource of the beautiful land of Tony's amazing farm, all of the wisdom, all of the witnessing that each of us bring, all of the capacity, all of the experience, skillfulness, creativity, vision. And in bringing all of these resources together, we emerge at the other side renewed, inspired, and ready to participate in this world that we are confronting. Whatever that looks like for each of us, that we're able to bring new energy, new clarity and vision. And yeah, it's an honor to be here with all of you. Mm. Mm.
Mm. Now, and with that, we'll formally close the info session. As Matthew said, we'll still be hanging around for a while, so we won't kick anybody out. Just as at Pitchcott Farm, you will not be kicked out immediately. Welcome to linger in the blissful zone and energy. And yeah, I'm really reminded just in this moment of silence of the experience of sitting around the fire at Pitchcott. You know, those moments where all the men fall silent and you just gaze into the fire and feel that presence and that fire speaking to you and sometimes just telling you exactly what needs to be said or shed in that moment. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you to everyone who's listening to this recording. We're very pleased to welcome you onto the land at Soulstice.
Cheers, Simon.
Summer.